Why is guilt so common for highly sensitive people? It often gets in the way of taking care of your needs, setting boundaries, getting the recharge time that's so important to feel balanced and less overwhelmed. So in this video, we're going to be exploring those topics and giving you a few ways to validate your needs and actually meet them without getting pulled into the pressure from the non-HSPs in your life. How do you manage the social pressure, the guilt that comes up when you need to recharge, but someone else wants something from you? This is something that I always go back and forth in my mind because I want to meet people's needs, right? Very empathetic. People mean a lot to me, the people in my life. So I want to say yes. However, when there's a no coming up, I'm too tired, I'm just disinterested, I had other plans for myself, I start to have a conversation, almost a negotiation, I would call it, where I'm convincing myself why I should say yes. This happens less and less, but this is definitely something that I have to work at, is not negotiating my needs away. So when someone asks me to do something and it's a no, trusting that no. But why is this so common? Why do we often feel guilty? Why do we question our needs? Why do we often put others first as sensitive people? It's because we're highly empathetic, right? We have more active mirror neurons in our brains, which is the part of the brain responsible for empathy. So we are much more empathetic than 70 to 80% of other humans. And with that comes guilt. So I like to say the two are correlated. The higher the empathy, the higher the guilt. Because we do care about people. It's hard to say no. We don't want to disappoint. We don't want to hurt someone's feelings. We don't want to risk harming the relationship. Because another thing that we struggle with as HSPs, as sensitive people, is we have a difficulty with conflict. I think mostly because conflict is overstimulating. It's really intense. It can be hard to deal with when you're more attuned to emotion and you're more empathetic and you're more easily overstimulated. Conflict can be intense. It can create a lot of uncertainty and anxiety. It's not easy to deal with. And also, we're used to being told that our experience is wrong. So it's easy to second guess yourself. This is definitely true for me. You always hear that, oh, you're not really feeling this way, or, oh, it's not really that bad, or, oh, you don't really understand that, when your intuition is maybe heightened and you know something without knowing why you know it, and people discredit that because they don't understand it or they don't feel it. So we're often getting discredited or told that our experience is wrong or needs to be different. So there's a lot of self-doubt that can come in. So when you get asked a question, you get asked to go to lunch or to help a friend or a family member or even just to have a phone call, and you don't want to do it. Maybe you're tired. Maybe there's a part of you that says, this isn't a good fit for me. Something in my gut says no. But then you question it because you're used to being told, be different. So then your needs become really murky and unclear, and it can be hard to stand up for those needs, to advocate for yourself, to put your needs at least in line with other people's needs. And so that, the self-doubt with the guilt, makes it really hard to prioritize your needs and recharge when you're feeling overwhelmed or exhausted or irritable, or you just want to have some time for yourself. We don't need a reason to say no. Sometimes we just want to do something different. We want to have some time for ourselves. But it's easy to get swept away in other people's needs. So it's important to reconnect with, why am I needing what I'm needing? Remembering that your needs are valid. So first, remembering that you're a highly sensitive person. You have different needs for downtime, for rest, for meaningful connection and fulfillment, meaningful activities and self-care. So that's important to remember. And also, you're more easily overstimulated and overwhelmed. So remembering those pieces, reconnecting with, okay, I have different needs and it's okay to meet those needs. So when I'm saying no to this request, it's because I have a need that needs to be recognized, and that's okay. You're going to have different needs from other people, and they don't have to understand why you have that need. They can't. If they're not highly sensitive, they're wired differently. They don't understand. It's okay. That's not a problem. It's just a fact. Non-HSPs and HSPs, we have different experiences of the world. So just slowing down to ask yourself a few questions. Why do I need this? And why do I need this now? Could be I'm highly sensitive. I just need more downtime. It could be I've had a really overwhelming week and I need some time to myself. It could be I had some other plans for this time. I wanted to journal. I wanted to cook my favorite meal. I wanted to go for a walk. I had some things I wanted to do for myself. Those are all valid. And then around the guilt piece, guilt is I have done something wrong. Different from shame, which is I am wrong or I am bad. Guilt is I've done something bad. So just check in with yourself. Am I doing something wrong here? You can just check in without guilt. Guilt is usually an automatic reflex because of that empathy. But just check in. Am I doing anything wrong? Is it wrong to say no to a request? Is it wrong to rest when I'm tired or had other plans? And then ask yourself, who knows your needs better, you or the other person? I imagine most people don't have ill intents. They're not asking you or to force you. They may be enthusiastic. They may be used to needing to kind of encourage you to get you to come out, especially if you're a highly introverted HSP like me. But I imagine they're not trying to coerce. Most people, there will be some, but most people are not trying to coerce. They're just trying to include you. So they need you to step up and say, actually, I need something different. And you can say a flat out no, or you can say, I can't do this today, but I'd love to meet with you next week. Or I can't help out now, but what about tomorrow? So there's a lot of different ways to approach your answer so you get the downtime and the rest that you need when you're needing to recharge or just take care of yourself. And then another really important question to ask is, what happens if I ignore my needs right now? What's the consequence? So oftentimes we push through that guilt and we push through our need to say no, but there's usually a cost, especially if you're already depleted. So it depends, whether it's at work or at home or with family or friends, you could be risking burnout. You could be risking illness if you're pushing yourself too much. You could be risking feeling more anxious or depressed, having headaches, having physical symptoms. There's lots of different things that could come up if you're not taking care of your needs, emotionally and physically. So just something to think about. What are my needs? Why is it okay to meet those needs? And what happens when I don't? Feel free to share your own experiences with navigating guilt in the comments below. You can also check out the description for more HSP resources, including my free sensitive self-care workshop. As usual, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.